Hey guys, welcome to an 8 and 16-bit face-off kerfuffle. This week I'm taking a look at Warhawk, released by Firebird Software in 1986. Now I'm kicking off with the version that I bought and played back in the day. This is on the Commodore 64 now. Right away you'll hear it's got an absolutely stonking Rob Hubbard, I can never say his name, Rob Hubbard musical track. Really good. Something's niggling my brain that this game was actually programmed by two guys that used to make demos in the C64 back in the old, not the internet, what was it called again? I can't remember the name of it. It was basically a really basic internet back in the C64. So anyway, yeah, you can see here, it's the one thing about sort of home computers, they didn't really lend themselves particularly well to shoot 'em ups because of the screen layout. As you can see, the screen is wider than it is high, so it's basically it's landscape. Now shoot 'em ups, especially vertical shoot 'em ups, really need to have taller screens than they are wide, and that's why you'll never really see an arcade shoot 'em up. It's got this kind of orientation. It will always be vertical, but it didn't stop there being some cracking shoot 'em ups on the 8-bit machines. And again, yeah, this one is up there. I mean, I think it was £1.99, or it might have been £2.99. I can't remember exactly. One thing that annoyed me at the time, and it annoys me even now, is the absolutely massive score. Is there any real reason for that score being as big? It dominates the screen. You know, why didn't they put it at the top of the screen where normal scores go? And you can see there it's also very hard. Yeah, I don't know why they chose to do that. It doesn't really add anything to the game at all, and all it does is it just ceases, or it takes over the screen. Don't know why they did that. Anyway, that's grumbles aside. It's a nice shoot 'em up. I mean, it's difficult. I would imagine that it's kind of the inspiration for this game was possibly Star Force in the arcades. It had similar sort of graphics. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it's certainly based, it's got the same scrolling background as Star Force did have. Saying that, it could have been Terracrest, it could have been Slapfight, it could have been any of these games, so I'm probably talking rubbish. But yeah, it's a nice little shoot 'em up. It's not particularly deep. There's not a huge variety of baddies, so saying that, I never really got particularly far in the game when I owned it. Now you'll see there, some of the baddies do drop what kind of look like the bombs that sort of they kind of homing in you, so you've got to try and avoid them. Quite blocky graphics, but that was the C64 for you. Now this, I believe, is kind of the end of the level where you just get absolutely attacked from all sides. Hey, and I managed to do it. But the big part of a lot of C64 games was the music. The music really was a wonderful part of it. I mean, there were some games that I bought back in the day, and some games that I used to play purely to listen to music rather than play the game. But this game was fun. It was fun. Yeah, it was cheap and cheerful. Blocky graphics, not an awful lot of variation. I mean, I don't think you can't seem to destroy these things. But for £1.99, what were you complaining about? I don't think it couldn't have really got away with being a full release. I mean, the graphics were all quite similar for each level. The one thing that was always a wee bit annoying about music in games, when you were firing bullets, most games would have to use one of the voices for like the firing sound. so the music, you were missing some of the music. So yeah, that was always a wee bit annoying. Sometimes you wouldn't want to fire because you wanted to listen to music properly. So that was sometimes why I wasn't a big fan of having music for in-game music, because you wanted to listen to it, and when you were firing, it would kind of take away some of the sort of the musical instruments. But it's a nice wee game, really nice wee game. So that is Warhawk, and that is on the C64. We'll now proceed to look at some other versions. Right, next up is, this is the Atari 800 version. I was actually quite surprised to see that this had one, 1986. Possibly, I mean obviously Atari was still getting games at this point. I think probably after that year there was very little coming out for the Atari 800, unfortunately. Now, right off the bat, very colourful. And I've got to say, the music was excellent. I noticed it was Rob Hubbard as well. I didn't actually realise he did music for... Well, I knew he did music for other systems, but he was certainly never as prolific on other systems as he was in the C64. Lovely background graphics. Wee bit disappointed with the single colour sprites for the baddies. You know, it kinda looks a wee bit like an Atari 2600 graphics. Seems a shame, you know, they've gone to quite a lot of bother with the backgrounds, a lot of nice colours, a lot of nice detail, and it's almost like they've forgotten the graphics for the baddies. Does that make any sense? I mean, your ship, it's kind of graduated colour, it's got 3 or 4 colours there, but yeah, the baddies always look like a bit of an afterthought. They don't really look like very much, which is a shame, but plays very similar to C64. This one is auto fire. You've got your little sort of heat-seeking missiles, but once you move above them, they can't seem to move up, so that's a sort of top tip. Ooh, pink baddies. Well, I'm not sure that works, Atari. I think by sort of 1986, Atari owners were grateful to get really any software, you know, so I'm sure they would have grabbed this with both hands. And the thing is, it's not a bad game. I mean, it's a fun shooter. It plays really well. Just a shame they couldn't have spent a wee bit more time and put a bit more colour and a bit more detail into the sort of sprites. It looks a bit like the Iridium ship, actually. You'll notice the in-game music is missing in the C64. Sometimes I think that's a good thing. I've never made any bones about it that I'm not a big fan of in-game music in games. There are 1 or 2 exceptions where the music really adds to it, but for vertical shooters, nah, I prefer my games just to be sound effects, because the sound effects are an integral part of the game. You know, it lets you know what's coming if you've maybe destroyed something. So music, to my mind, isn't always good when it's a sort of a, you know, especially a shoot 'em up. But it's a nice fast-paced game. And the thing is, at that point, sort of vertical shooters they weren't really that popular in 1986. You know, I mean, you had your arcade conversions of, you know, the shoot 'em ups I mentioned earlier on, your slap fights, Terra Crest, etc. But largely things had moved on and people weren't really wanting to play shoot 'em up. So it was always nice to get an original one. So yeah, that is Atari 800 one. Music is excellent. So yeah, next up, sticking with Atari, this is Atari ST one. Now there wasn't a conversion of this for the Commodore Amiga, and more surprisingly, there wasn't a version of this released for the Spectrum. I wonder where that was. If anybody knows the reason for that, let me know. It does seem strange. There was one for the Amstrad, which I will look at shortly, but yep, why was there no Spectrum version of this? Seems a wee bit odd. So right away, you can see the graphics are completely different. A lot more detailed. And it's also got the music. It's they've stuck the music, in-game music. Actual level layout is totally different as well. I mean, some nice water effects here. Again, they've got that horrible big score. Really, look at it. Why would you put that in? Why wouldn't you make a little score and put it at the top left or in the middle where it should be? I don't know why they chose to do that. Okay, and if anybody knows the programmers of these games, let me know. I mean, it doesn't add anything to it. It actually spoils. You've got all the bother of making nice graphics, and then you put a big horrible score across it. Don't understand that one little bit. Not really the same levels as the first two versions that we've played, so it's a different game. I mean, it's a vertical shoot 'em up, but it's kind of similar in name only. Can you pick these things up? These kind of flashing trees. I'm not quite sure what these are. Oh, killer water. What is that? Ah, should I have picked it up possibly? We shall never know. I'd say one thing about this version that I'm not keen on is, yeah, the graphics are more detailed, they're a lot more detailed. It's somehow, it doesn't have the same vibrancy that especially not Atari ST, especially the Atari 800 one had. And that vibrancy gave it the arcade look. Whereas this is slightly sterile looking. Does that make sense? But I think that's down to them obviously trying to utilise the colour palette. They're not high-res graphics, or are they high-res graphics? I don't know. They've gone for more detail. They've obviously gone for more colour, but it just lacks the sort of the shine and glossiness of the other two versions we've looked at. But you know what? I am being a bit picky. As a budget, end of level boss. Didn't see that in other versions. As a cheap or a budget shoot 'em up, it's nice. It's really, really nice. Why can't I kill this thing? Again, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I used to sort of diss the Atari ST sound, but listen to that tune. If I told you that was a SID tune, you would probably believe me. But that was, Rob Hubbard was a musical genius, and I'm glad to see that now he's getting the recognition. Some 30 years on, he's getting the recognition from the media that what he actually did for the industry. He really put music on the map, and that opened up an industry in itself, and that's why there's still chip music is still a massive thing, and I think that's excellent. And that was in no large part down to Rob Hubbard. You obviously got guys like Ben Dalglish and Martin Galway into this whole thing, but Rob Hubbard was the one that just blew the whole thing open. When Thing in a Spring came out, people were like, wow, I didn't know that the SID tune could actually sing as well. So that's a really nice game. It's got nice changing colour as well, so that's a lovely version. That is the Atari ST one. So let's move on. Listen to that tune. you would not know that that wasn't the Commodore 64. I mean, that's an Amstrad. So it just goes to show, people always talk about the C64 for the music, for the SID music, but when you get programmers like Rob Hubbard who had the genius and the knowledge, they could get almost equally quality music out of the humble Amstrad. Now, the Amstrad was never ever going to be touted as having a good sound chip, but in the right hands, listen to it. That is impressive. That is probably the single most impressive piece of music I've heard on Amstrad. If anybody knows any other games that has got equally good music, please let me know. So this one, level layout, it's the same as the C64 and Atari 8-bit version. That music is awesome, it really is. Now see the music, not the music, what I like about this one over the other versions is at least, yeah, it's got the big horrible ugly score, we know that, we know it's horrible, but at least it's not overlaying the actual play area. The Atari and the C64 one, I'm sure, was actually over the play area, whereas at least this one, it's down the bottom, it's out the way, and it actually looks nicer. It's got a nicer look to it, but I still stand by, they should have made it smaller. We don't really need to, when you're playing these games, it's all about the reaction, about avoiding the baddies. We don't really need to have the score in your face. We're more than capable of glancing down at the bottom and seeing what the score is. But at least that one doesn't have it over the playing area. Right, let's go for one more shot. Again, at least this one's, it's got nice coloured sprites. So anyway, that is the last of the ports. To summarise, C64 one, I believe it was the first machine to get this game. Really nice graphics, yeah, quite pixely, but the actual sprites etc were well done. Smooth scrolling, music to die for, really nice version. Atari 800 one, nice backgrounds, played well, awesome music again it was by Rob Hubbard I think it was, but to my mind it was let down with the baddies. They had no imagination, they were all single colour, and that kind of takes quite a few points off it for me. Atari ST one, it's different from the 8-bit versions. It's done its own thing. It doesn't have the same shininess, even like compared to this version. It doesn't really look like an arcade game, if that makes any sense. It's kind of too stereo looking, but it's a nice shoot 'em up in its own right. Amstrad one, I really like this one. It's got great graphics, sound is amazing as well. So it's a close run thing. I'm probably going to go with the C64 one as my favourite. But that's not all, guys. This is a slight bonus feature which I'm about to reveal. Just as I was checking for different versions of the game, this one popped up. This is Warhawk and it's on the Nintendo DS. Now I'm running this in an emulator. I like that music, I like that a lot. Now this game is completely free to download. I'm just trying to see, Lobo 09, was this written in 2009? Why did nobody tell me about it? There you go, this is a remake of an old Commodore 64 game from way back in the year of 1986. The original game, I've just missed that there. So this is a true rebirth version. You can see there, it's got lovely graphics, nice sound, it's very noisy. Oh, and it's also got some nice big sort of bosses to take out as well. I didn't include this in the summary because it's a different game. It's completely different. No, it kind of reminds me a wee bit like this level reminds me a wee bit like Gradius 5 in the PlayStation 2, albeit this is vertical and that one was horizontal, just with the big rocks you've got to try and destroy. But this is a really nice game. I'll really need to put this onto my R4's flash cart. You never really associate the DS as being a particularly good system for shoot 'em ups, but what this cleverly does is it uses the two screens, so you're getting that kind of vertical aspect ratio, which is really nice. And that, blimey, it's me. Yeah, that end of level is very reminiscent of Star Force, the Star Force arcade game, where you've got the three things you've got to kind of shoot. Blimey, it's a wee bit bullet hell as well. So yeah, I suppose we could probably call this, Warhawk, or influenced by Warhawk. As the guy said, it's based on the Warhawk game, but they've taken the whole game and they've improved it tenfold. I always love to see the fact that there's still people putting out games for old systems. That is awesome. So anyway, yeah, that is Warhawk on the Nintendo DS. And as always, guys, hope you enjoy watching it. And as usual, thank you very much for watching.